Good morning. Good morning. Um, we're just 9 o'clock right there. I wanted to start right on time. Sorry about the last few weeks and kind of a crazy schedule. Um, but I'm here this morning. Hope you can join me. If not, you can always find this on YouTube. Debbie Arnett. I know, real original. So I wanted to share with you a book. Uh, it's written by Matty Stepanek, this young boy. He died in 2014. He had a form of muscular dystrophy that affected his breathing and was consistently on a respirator his entire life. And so he was quite an inspired little boy. He was on Oprah. Um, I'm not even sure of some of the talk shows. He died in 2014, right at the age of 14, and so he was young. But he's written some timely words, some things that have brought a lot of attention to me, to my maybe some of my complaining, some of my misunderstandings. So anyway, I wanted to share with you today one of his poems. He says, if you have enough breath to complain about anything, you have more than enough breath to be grateful for something. For most of us, this breath is always here. It's always a part. So go ahead and find yourself on a seat. I feel kind of off center today, but I'm not really very much. So anyway, breathing in and out. We have the opportunity today to not only feel gratitude, to express it by moving our bodies, by enjoying just the sheer wonder. It's fall. We can feel the chill in the air. We here in Utah are going to have quite a change. I think Sunday it looked like the high will be fairly low and we'll get some rain, which is desperately needed. As you breathe, let that breath be long and slow. So, for the last few weeks, we've been working on different breathing styles. Today, I wanted to work on alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana. Okay. On what the best thing this does, the best benefit, is this really creates a cross to the brain. You remember that anything we work on our left side goes to the right side, and anything on the right side goes to the left. The right side of the brain is very much the aggressor, the sun, the power, the masculine energy. We need that energy, right? As women, as men, we need to be doers. We need to be full of action. Okay. Then you have the left side that is calm, peaceful, seeks for compassion. We have the moon side, the feminine energy, the intuitive, the inspirational. We must each, as women and men, as people, develop both sides of that. Some of them are innate in nature, some of them aren't. Regardless of whether that those energies need to be blended, and we need to have a part of both of them. If most of your energy is masculine, aggressive, get stuff done, power, then that softer side needs to be developed. Okay. If most of us is just soft and loving and like a warm puppy and creative and all that kind of stuff, then sometimes we need to have a little bit more aggression. We need to be, and maybe aggression isn't a very good word, but we need to be aggressively pursuing and acting. And in all, we take a moment to find the things that are going well. So I hope I've given you enough time. I try to talk long enough because I know sometimes I get down here and it's like, oh, I didn't get this prop. I didn't get this prop. So make sure you have a block or two. Make sure you have a racquetball. Make sure you have a tissue for this breathing. Okay. I would take your tissue. I try to, excuse me, we won't do that. I try to make sure that I have everything set up that you can see. And I start just a few minutes early so that you can see, I need this today. Okay. So you don't need to have the tissues right by you, but take one, blow your nose now, even if you don't need it. I always try to clear out my nose before we start this. And then we can use one after as well. Okay. You're going to use the right hand. Okay. So you're going to notice that I've got an incision that I'm healing. Yes. Don't ask how. But these two fingers, I've made it very easy for you to see, close down. Okay. Thumb goes on the right side. Fourth finger, and fifth finger are on the left side. Okay. I like to take a hand underneath to support it. You don't need it. Please be as upright as possible on your seat. So come away from the back of your chair. Go ahead and close off the left side with the ring finger and your baby finger. Okay. Inhale through the right side. Deep inhale, close it off, pause for just a sec, and then open the left nostril and exhale. Pause, close it off, open the right. Inhale, close it off, exhale. Pause, close it off, inhale. Close it off, pause, exhale. And go ahead and just breathe normal. We're going to come back to that. You'll find that you might need another tissue as you stop talking while I've got that in my nose. That is such a beneficial breath. You can already, just after 3 rounds, feel that we've opened up. Okay. So with this breath, it's one that can be used at any time. One of the things that they have discovered, and when I say they, I mean scientists, but the yogis knew it years ago, okay, before science was really involved, that every hour, okay, we actually automatically will breathe on different nostrils, different nostril sides. The purpose of that is the exact same thing I just mentioned. We need both energies to be healthy, to be productive, to be living. Okay. We have the energy on our right side and our energy on our left side. Or, whichever, right side or left side, doesn't matter. So close your eyes and just breathe. Now, we've kind of cleared it out a little bit. If you're stuffy, this may not work. Notice which side is stuffy. Just breathe in and out a few breaths, eyes closed. I won't be doing anything. And notice which breath, which nostril side is more prevalent. Where do you feel a deeper breath? Which side? Right now, mine is on my right side. One of the things I've noticed is when I teach, often mine will actually switch to the right side because I'm in that, not really an aggressive place, but one of where I'm leading, I'm directing. Okay. Those are masculine energies. So it's a little after 9, right? At the end of class, we'll come back here and find out if maybe it switched. One of the things the scientists have found, right, that mirrors what yogis taught and knew long time ago, is that every hour it shifts. So I was so determined. This is where my masculine comes in. You'll see this. This little bit competitive. This, I need to know this for sure. I need to know it for myself. So I put a timer on my phone. Every hour it beeped, and I went 3 or 4 days, maybe even a week, where it would go off. And if it was possible, sometimes you're like, if you're in a conversation, you can't stop and, sorry, I need to check on my breathing and to see which nostril. Yeah. So, be real. But as I breathe, I'd go, oh my gosh, it's shifted sides. And it really is. So you want to take that on, go for it, because I think it's an amazing idea and concept of how our energies work. Okay. And that is such a basic description, how our energies work. Okay. We can know more if you want to study more. All right. So go ahead. Let's come back in to our Nadi Shodhana. We'll do 5 rounds. Now, I wanted to tell you, and I've mentioned this before, any. You get that right? Anytime you're breathing or doing a breathing exercise and you feel strain, stop immediately. Okay. Strain is not of benefit ever, not in breathing. Okay. We work towards this, we develop it. I really have had the thought as I've shared different breathing exercises, that as a culture, as a world right now in COVID, to increase our lung capacity, to increase our immune systems, our breathing and how we breathe is so beneficial. So we'll just add one of those in. Go ahead and take your right hand, right? Turn 2 fingers down, thumb on the right side, fourth finger and 5th finger on the left side. Go ahead and open the right and inhale. Close it off, pause, open the left side and exhale. Pause, close it off, open the right side. That's 1 round. Inhale. Close it off, pause, exhale. Inhale. Close it off, exhale. Inhale. Close it off, maybe a pause, exhale. Inhale left. Close it off, exhale. Inhale. Close it off, exhale. Inhale. Close it off, exhale. Last one. Inhale. Close it off, exhale. Inhale. Close it off, exhale. Go ahead. Remove your hands. Blow your nose again. If you need to. And then pause and just notice. For me, I view this a little bit as a pen light that I've gone into an attic, and I've used this description before. I've used it in a lot of different things. I've used it in understanding of different principles. I've used it in ahas and inspiration. Okay. And that is, you go into a room, and if it's a dark room and you can only look around with your pen light and you go, oh, there's dirt here. And you sweep holding your pen light, okay? And you think, oh, I've done a great job, and you leave. And then you come back, maybe with a flashlight, and you go, oh my gosh, how did I miss all this? And you sweep again and clean. And then you go back in with a floodlight, and you're like, oh my gosh, there's still more that needs to be cleaned. That's our learning process. That's how we adapt and how we grow. It's not done. We don't always get to have just the floodlight, okay? We learn slowly, incrementally, as we are willing to go into a circumstance with a pen light. So I'd like you to close your eyes and think of a place in your life where maybe you just have a pen light of information. Maybe this is your first time sitting on the chair and actually doing the work other than just watching. Maybe it's the understanding that I feel better when I do this. And then you kind of go, I should do this every day. And you start noticing and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm better for doing this every day. And that's how habits are made and created, and habits are broken. Maybe it's like, oh, I hate when I think these thoughts. And so you train yourself to add every time you notice. First of all, you have to notice the thought. And then every time you add something else in. Pause for just a moment and see which nostril is an easier place for you to breathe. Did yours shift? Your hour might not be the same as my hour. Okay. I'm still on the right. All righty, here we go. So go ahead and, oh yeah, you've been sitting still. Let's move. Anybody been out in the garden? Oh yeah. Shoulders are a little bit tighter out in the yard, maybe your low back. Maybe you've been doing a lot of yoga and you feel tight. I had a real aha the other day. So you're just going to move forward and back. Okay, let me move from the side. Lean forward. Really try to get your shoulders to go back and your sit bones and your tailbone are going back so that you're creating a curl in your back. And then round the other way. We tend, if you're sitting on a couch for hours a day, this tends to be our seat with a real round, a real lean back, because actually this is just kind of a great place to sit. It feels comfy. You're usually supported all the way down. The problem is you're opening the backside of the body and compressing. Okay. So I've run into quite a few people in the last week that have had the same kind of a same issue. A little bit of a kind of a herniated or a ruptured disc, right? A disc that's pushing into nerves. Okay. This moving of your body. Okay. So now we've gone forward and back a few breaths, right? And maybe your movement is just here. If it is, it's okay. Express it fully. Let your chin lift a little bit. It's not collapsed. It's just a lift. Open through your heart and then exhale, round and go back. Okay. So that's forward and back. Now let's do side to side. Right hand or left hand is on the chair. Come up and over. And come back. Change sides. That may be, you might go, Debbie, I can only get here. Perfect. Okay. Maybe you can't get your shoulder all the way up. I'm gonna do it here. Guess what? I can still go side to side with my body. So if your arms, you've got some shoulder issues, then you're just going side to side. Now we're going to create a barrel roll. I often do this on my hands and knees. If you can get on your hands and knees, you are welcome to do it that way. But you're just going to kind of go side. There's that forward. There's that side and back. Side and forward and other side and back. One more. Side and forward and another side and back. Let's change directions. This side. Notice one side's easier. We think we're symmetrical. We're not. And back and side and forward and back. Oh, I just got a message. Hang on, maybe that my sound isn't up very high. Oh, sorry, Instagram. Okay, so one more this way. Roll through those shoulders. Yeah, take them back. Now, I had kind of a big aha last week as I was doing my own practice. I'd gone to a class, was actually in the hot room at Purified Wellness Center. They have infrared panels, fabulous way to heat. Okay, but as I'm working through my body, I'm finding that it's like a half hour, even longer into class, and I'm still just barely working out some places. And I've been working hard and I've been doing some extra things, but I was kind of surprised because usually it takes me about 15 or 20 minutes. And I kind of pondered on that. So you're just moving any way that feels good right now to you. So I often ask myself, why don't we do this more often if it feels so good? Sometimes it's we don't know we think we don't know how to do it. Just sit in your skin, right? Sit in this body. All righty. Okay, grab a block and a racquetball. Now, I brought my racquetball that's in my knee-high sock. I often will keep one of these in the car because I can go like this against my car seat and get some tight places, okay? You can also do this. I'm going to stand up and do this against the wall. Just put it over your shoulder, right? You're holding it with an arm, and then you're just going to go against the wall and roll out shoulder blades. When it's in a stretchy sock, you can go down your spine. Yeah. So, may I suggest? That's about a $2 investment. Okay. $1 for 2 socks, $1 for a ball. Okay, right foot is gonna, well, let's do left foot first. Left foot up on the block, right foot here. Now, the reason I'm doing this is I want this up a little higher so that you can lean a little forward, okay, safely. Sometimes when we're down here, that lean is harder to do. And roll through that ball, or through the ball on the foot, through the foot, okay? Swirl it around, find all of the places, and right at first, you can just do it lightly. And then I want you to push, lean forward here. You can lean onto this leg, you can lean on this leg. Make sure your angles of the knee are at a right angle. They're not tighter, okay? And then push down. Really notice that. Find the different places in your feet that are maybe a little tender, all right there. And then just stay there with a little bit of pressure on, breathe. Find, that little bit of sensation, okay? And you're just you might find a couple places. You don't have to stay long, but then when you go back to it a second time, you're like, it's not as sensational. Maybe it is, but more often than not, the sensation has released a little bit. Okay, then you're going to put the heel down and go back and forth across the ball of the foot. Get a little bit under the arch of the foot. That's going to be a little more tender. Okay, this fabulous work for plantar fascia. Notice I'm not curling this under. Oftentimes when we do the plantar fasciitis, okay, you'll pull the toes back and you'll make this even like stretched even tighter, which gives you more pain, right? It causes more pain. So if you'll just push, yeah, it may not be very pleasant Okay, another thing that is very beneficial here is to take like just a 16-inch water bottle and freeze it, and then do this with the water bottle. So not only you're icing that, you're also stretching it. But see, I'm not taking the muscle and stretching, okay? I'm just massaging where the muscle's at. There's a difference. If I take my foot and pull the toes back this way, I'm creating a stretch here, a length here. That often the reason for plantar fascia is this action of pushing off, which is this same action, right? So you're just stretching down there. When you do this, you're just pushing into it. You're not causing the stretch. This is beneficial, okay? That was a little tangent. Ball of the foot down and go side to side. Yeah, okay. And then go ahead and change the feet that are on the block. You can just move the same block over. I just happen to have two. And roll across the top of the feet. Taking your toes and pressing down, making them long and lengthen. Okay. If you've got hammer toes developing or maybe already developed, this is very beneficial. This is the way, it's like, this is the way I want my foot, right? So we're just massaging some of that fascia, increasing the blood flow, saying, go this way. What our body does is it adapts to how we move and how we sit and what kind of shoes we force our feet to use, right? So just starting to be aware. Now, one of the ones that is very beneficial as well is to come over here around your ankle. Do both sides. And then just pause. You can move the blocks off to the side and notice how that foot feels. It's just going woo and tingle. Okay. And then this foot's on the block. This foot has the ball. Squirrel it first. This is movement pretty much I think anybody can do. Now, I've worked even with people in assisted living homes where they can't move, where I go in and I do this for them. Okay. It is still beneficial. So if you've got someone like that that you know that you can access, okay. So once the squirrel, you're going to go find the places that are like tender. Mostly mine are on the arch. Okay, I get to the ball of my foot and I don't feel much. Make sure you even get up to the toes, stretching them, requiring them to move. But normally, and I'm not feeling a ton, but there's a little place right there. So I'm just going to stay, breathe, close my eyes. What does that feel like, right? And then moving, then put the heel down and going across the ball of the foot and then move it down to the arch of the foot. And then put the ball of the foot down and take the heel back and forth. And then let's change blocks and go across the top. Stretching through those toes. Finding each toe. Each toe is important. Our little pinky toes tend to just kind of get little stubs. Go around the ankle. Both sides. Okay, and then off to the side that goes. Go ahead, leave one block up. You're going to plant the ball of the foot and reach the heel towards the floor. Now you're going to have to move it forward so you still stay at that right angle. Okay. Some of us can move like this, but it's not good. We really want to practice moving from here. It's a protection for the knees. push down. You may lean forward. You're on the edge of your chair. That may create just sensation even up into your hips and your low back. If leaning is tough, you can come up a little higher, a block, a pillow, but just lean into that. Feel the stretch in the calf. And then we're going to go ahead and lift it up and put it back down, and lift it up and put it back down. Okay. I don't know how many of you, I've noticed a lot of older people kind of that shuffle. Okay. This action is going to help them. If your feet are very stoic, they don't have this lot of this flexibility that we obviously have to do these things, then how do you push off? You don't. You just slide your feet. That's that shuffle. Okay. Go ahead and change to the other side. Again, the ball of the foot is on the block and you're pushing down into the heel. Lean forward. And just hold for a minute. Spread your toes. Try and get your fourth and fifth toe to spread away from the center of that big toe. You might not get it to move, but you can feel that just that action increases the engagement, the contraction of your leg muscles. This body is so incredible. It's an amazing opportunity. And then go ahead and come up and back down. One thing we didn't do on the other side that we should have, okay, after a few up and downs, finding that flexibility is this round. Yeah. Take it both directions. We'll add the other foot. Let's go ahead and change to the other foot. Now you might say, Deb, do you remember last time we didn't spend a ton of time on the feet? So I wanted to make sure and spend, I had a couple people say, we didn't even do the feet. You know that if we don't do the feet in class, you're welcome to find another video that does the feet, or just remember from what you've done before. Pause. Again, breathe deeply. Notice which nostril is more pronounced of your breathing. We're going to notice that throughout class. We're not at the end yet. Beautifully done. Okay. Let's get into our spine a little bit more, in our hips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, just hinge. Hands can stay right here. Notice we didn't even make them raise. Tuck your chin, round your back, tuck your tailbone. So you're just trying to curl in this C-shaped, right? And pull back with your ribs. So they're pulling you back. And then you're going to shift back into sit bones into the chair, lengthen up the spine. The last thing to come up is the head. And I'd like you to feel as if someone's pulling on the back of your ears, pulling you back, opening through your heart. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, relax. Okay, so I'm going to do it once from the side. Okay, the inhale is here, just seated. The exhale is the smallest little hinge. Okay, just hinge. Notice my back didn't change. Okay, I'm keeping it in its neutral spine. And then you're going to tuck your chin, pull your shoulders, pull your rib cage, tuck your tailbone right here, and pull back. And then feel like someone's pulling extra on those ribs. You're going to feel tightness on the abdominal muscles. And once you're there, the initiation is right here. It's the front part of this pelvis lifting up. Inhale, inhale, inhale. The last thing is the head. And then maybe you even open up a little bit. Yeah, almost a back bend. And then release and just come. Let's try another one. Inhale. Exhale. Start the inhale curl. Inhale. Pull back on the exhale. And then this shift. That's one of the hardest movements to make as we age, is to keep that flexibility. Lengthen up, Open up the chest, pull the shoulders back, even let the chin, it's not again here. It's just a here. It's somebody's pulling on my ears, right? And then release. Beautifully done, okay? Let's do 2 more. We've done 3 of them. Let's make sure we at least get 5 of these articulations of the spine. Inhale up. Exhale, hinge. Use the whole exhale. And then inhale, round. Once you've got the curve, exhale, pull yourself deeper back. Okay, you're going to feel that go up into the mid back, right underneath the shoulders, shoulder blades. And then inhale, start right here. It's like this tailbone. That's one of the hardest things, again, to do. Inhale, come all the way up. Open through the heart. Pull the ears back. And exhale, release. One more. One last thought. Check what your legs are doing. Plant a block in between them and hug that block. Inhale up. Exhale, there's the hinge. Inhale, start it back. Shoulders, chin, round, and then exhale, pull it deeper. Keep this. Notice what that does to your legs. And then find that shift. This is where our legs want to do this. Yeah, pull that shift. And as you shift, pull up. Something's got to give because we're squeezing in. Something's going to go the opposite direction. It'll be right here in your sits bones, right here in your hip sockets. Yeah. Oh, that's such a benefit. Reach up, pull the ears back, open through the heart. You'll feel this all the way through here if you're hugging this in. And then release. Okay. So we've talked about numerous principles doing this. I would like you to try one more with the block. Squeeze the block in. Inhale. I don't know about you, but when I squeeze that block, something's got to give. And now, it's not this. You're not letting those feet move, right? Had to think through that. But you're letting the something, and it's going to be here. Let the hips get wider, okay? Creating more space, creating breath. As we breathe deeply, we create breath and room. And as we stretch, we move muscle and tendon. And those hips are saying, ah, I love this. And it's one of the best things you can do for your hips. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, hinge. As you start to curl back, inhale, tuck the chin, round, tuck the tailbone, and then exhale, pull it deeper, squeezing the block. And then inhale, shift, hold, squeeze that block a lot. Lengthen up. Ears getting pulled back, open through the heart. Yeah, and then exhale. Beautifully done. So I wanted to show you another option. You can totally use, I've used these before, you can totally use like a belt. If you have a belt to go on your pants. Okay. No, you want it about hip bone distance, which is not this side of the hip. Yeah, I wish, but it's here. Okay. So you're going to, yeah. So you may need it a little bigger. Totally fine. What we're watching for is the hips and the knees stay in alignment. It's not wide enough that we can go like this with the knees. When we widen here, we actually narrow space here. So we're going to do this. My husband keeps one in the car for driving. He drives a lot in work. Okay. I do it when I'm traveling long distances. Okay. So from my hip bone, there it is. Make sure that the buckle isn't on your thigh. It's just less painful. I mean, painful. This isn't painful. And I want you to just kind of push in. You can let your feet come right below your knees and push into that strap. Okay. That's the same action because as we go wide, the strap hinders us going very far, right? And something's got to give. And again, it's up in your hips. Okay. So this is an extreme benefit. Beautifully done. We're going to hold this for just a moment. Go ahead and release it and come back in. You're working some intrinsic hip muscles. Yeah. These on the outside of the hip, they get so tight. Push into that block. Okay, let's do this. Inhale and exhale. No, it's not a block. Sorry, it's a strap. Inhale, curl it back. Ooh, keep pushing. Notice what happens. Notice how that creates a deeper curl. And then come back up. Inhale, still pushing into that strap. Head comes back. And go ahead and release. Definitely working all the way through these outside. We want width and space in the hip sockets. Our pain comes because here's our socket, and it's kind of shaped, and then here comes this hip bone into it. And then as we age and we use our muscles and we get tighter and tighter and tighter, the head of that femur bone goes into that socket tighter and tighter and tighter till when we try to move it, it's just grinding. Okay. This action of sitting up and of moving the pelvis forward, back, that action of with that or the block squeezing, both of them. Okay, what it does is it creates space so that then I create movement, but I'm creating space. I'm requiring those hips to get wider. So there's more space in there, and then it can move and increase the blood flow and make your hips feel fantastic. Okay, nicely done. All right. I do feel like we should stand up, and I kind of always feel this way. So go ahead and stand up. Just lift your legs, work through them. We've worked them, okay? Wiggle through those. Let's do some stretching on the back side, and then we're also going to do some wall work today, okay? So go ahead. If you got a blanket on your mat, you can move it out. Just step back. Take your chair and reach. Come as deep as you can. Now, I'm not going here. Okay, so keep that, but I'm trying not to be here either. Notice I'm trying to get the head in between the arms. So it's working shoulders as well. So if your shoulders can't do that, then you're here. You can still find length, okay? My daughter had an accident and broke the head of her humerus bone. So she's just right now in therapy. One of the things the doctor has her doing for her shoulders is standing here and then sliding her arm along a table, right, and back. So if you've got shoulder issues, we can do the same thing here. Reach it back, slide, just kind of feel those arms reaching forward. Let a bend be in your knees. Can you see my back? I'm not here. That's the tuck of the tailbone. I want the tailbone sticking up, okay? I call it mooning. I think you all know that term. No matter how old you are, you know what mooning is. So bend those knees and moon somebody behind you. Find that length and then just come back up. Stretch, inhale. Roll through those shoulders. Roll them forward. Here we go again. Step back. Bend the knees slightly, so that you can stretch the sit bones back and moon somebody behind you. Yeah. And then come back. Roll through those shoulders, both directions. Here we go, last one. Now we got a couple more. Stretch it back. Come all the way back up. Inhale, lengthen. Back we go again. Bend the knees so that you can moon somebody behind you. Come back in. One more now. Here we go. Slide the arms. The shoulders are getting worked. So, yeah, breathe. Beautifully done. And come all the way back up. Nice work. Okay, stay up. We're going to work a little bit on our shoulders. Hey, how are you? Oops. Okay, I'm just bringing that up a little bit so you can see a little better. I noticed that I was a little low. Okay, hand on the wall, thumb facing down. Okay, then Can you see the arms before me? Your elbow is going to bend towards the wall so that it's on the wall too, and you're going to walk a little bit forward. So basically, I'm just coming into this position, thumb facing down. Okay. Notice that as you come forward, the shoulder lifts up. Yeah. Oftentimes we do that for the reach. We want that shoulder to be able to move like that. But what it's doing is it's working all of this. So I wanted to show you the difference between that and this and that. Okay. So now instead of here, forearm down, shoulder same height, back of the hand, pull the elbow down a little bit. It can still be up, but you can then, here you cannot drop the shoulder. It's stuck because of the way the shoulder's, just the anatomy of it. Then so you turn here, pull the shoulder down, creating space here. Look at this muscle. It's not even flexing, but you can feel underneath your back. Okay. So back of the palm, elbow. Try to pull the elbow towards the waistline. It's stuck on the wall, so it's not going to move. But as you try to pull it down and towards the waistline, you'll feel your back actually engage. I couldn't think, I've been fiddling with this. This one's a hard one to access. Let's try this second side. Go ahead and turn, thumbs facing down. My elbow isn't any higher than my shoulder. So I'm here, right? Notice what my shoulder's doing. It's lifting up, okay? I don't want that lift up. I don't want to develop. I want to be able to do that. That's a swim, right? I want that movement, but I don't want my shoulder to stay there. So turn the outside of the hand. The elbow's still into the wall, but the elbow's trying to pull down. It's not really moving very far. I'm still here. That elbow's pretty much out to the side, but what happens is I move it down and then pull with my shoulder blade. I drop that shoulder blade and I start engaging all along the back. Okay? So go ahead and release them. Shake them out. We're working some muscle here, okay? Start here. Notice that top part really working. And then turn it. And then pull elbow kind of towards the waistline. Enough. Not only does the shoulder blade come on the back, but you can feel the chest kind of rise. So in all honesty, this is my posture. This is how I want to stand. I don't want to be here. Look what that does not only to here, not only to the shoulders, but even to this. So here, when I've got those shoulders back, right, and there's this pull towards the waistline, the shoulders are on the back, the heart is open, the back of my body is supporting the front side of my body. And then I can just be here. And it feels weird because we're used to here. All righty, one more each side. Roll through them again. Okay, thumb down, notice that. Can you feel how tight you get right here? Yeah, those muscles get so tight. That's where we hold a lot of our tension. Part of the problem is we spend too much time here, yeah, and not enough time in the bottom part of that shoulder blade. That's what we're working today. Turn the palm out. It's facing the room. The elbow and the shoulder can be in alignment. You can have it a little bit lower if you'd like, if that's easier. Pull back with the shoulder blade. Lengthen up. Just feel like you're a puppet for a puppeteer, and they've got that string, and they're just pulling, but then you're going to push from your hips. You're going to kind of push down and just energetically into the floor and pull that back. Yeah, and then release. Second side. Start with the thumb down. I don't know about you, but pretty quickly I feel that engagement here. And then here, elbow into the wall, elbow towards the waistline, pulling it down, lifting it up, right? Stretching, breathing, just being in love. From the feet, there's the top of the head. Even from the waist, like somebody's hands are on my hips, they're pushing down. I feel length in the waistline. And release. Beautifully done. Go ahead and come back to your seat. So you might feel, oh, no, you can't see my feet. Sorry. There we go. You might feel a little sore. If you are, you're rounding, you're pulling them back, and you're rolling through them. And I would do it. Okay, so you say, oh, I'm sore. Okay, that is your spirit telling your mind, hey, pay attention. Your body needs to move. So then do so. Roll through that. Okay. And then later on in the day, you're doing something, you go, oh man, I am really feeling that. Maybe you take this, you go up to the wall and you just go, oh, yes. Okay. What starts to happen when we stop listening to what our body's telling us? As it stops, it says, she's not going to listen anymore. And if I'm not listening and I keep some of those same movements, then over time the body just starts breaking down. Okay. I know this from experience. You know, you hurt, you're like, oh, I'm just going to stay in bed, or I'm just going to not do this, or no, get out and move. Okay. Go ahead and close your eyes, take a breath, see where your breathing is. Mine's still right nostril. Beautifully done today. Okay. Go ahead and let's just take some little half circles with our head. When you're here, okay, you often have seen people pull the head down. Okay, don't pull it down, but push your head this way into your hand. And then you'll feel, go ahead and let this left arm or your right arm lift. And it's almost like you've got a little exercise squishy ball here. Push down there and just feel that length. Go from here, maybe even the elbow through the fingertips. And release. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Okay, but we're never cranking the head down with the hand. The hand is there so that we push into it. Yeah. So there's a definite tug of war going on between that hand and head. Arm comes out, find the squishy ball to push down. All along the top of that arm, breathe. So one of the things that happens, and it's pretty natural, and release. When something hurts to move, we want to stop moving it. There's a fine line, okay? I'm not saying that you move in excruciating pain, okay? When we feel tight muscles, when we feel a little sore, okay, it's experimental, right? It's with our breath, and it's like, oh, wow, I worked my back today, right? Oh, wow, yeah. And I promise that if you'll start paying attention, pretty soon your body will go, or your spirit kind of goes to your mind and says, she's listening more. I can tell her more now. Tell her do this. Tell her do that. Okay. When I'm creating a class, when I'm creating work, I sit, how can I teach this? How can I create this wiggle? How can I create that move? And that's how you do it. That's really it. And then I've done enough training that I'm like, optimally, I want the shoulder moving this way. Optimally, I want the hips here. So how can I create that? And then we are okay using props, straps, all those kind of things to help us access that. Okay. Let's do a little bit of core work. Oh, we're running out of time. Push your hands into your thighs. Pull up as your shoulders can come up, and then see if they can go back. Bend the elbows slightly, and then I'm just kind of holding all this into my body. Push down into my legs and pull my belly back. So we do this on the floor on our mats all the time. Here's the way you can do it in the chair. I'm sitting up straight. My shoulders aren't here. They started there, and then I let them roll back so that I could kind of squeeze the shoulder blades together, pushing the hands down and forward on my thighs, and then pulling my belly back away from Take another breath. And still breathing up over the tightness in my waistline. And release. We're just going to do one more. Inhale. Shoulders up. Pull them back. Isolate them by pulling them towards each other. Elbows are not here. They're hugging in. Doesn't matter if you touch, but they are hugging in. Push down and forward. Pull the belly back. Beautifully done. Today, we're not going to get down on our backs. You are welcome. If you know windshield wipers and twists on your back, join your mat. Okay, we're going to do them right from here because some people can't get up and down out of their chairs. Go ahead and come over to with your legs over to the right. Okay, and then just hands here, maybe on a chair. Just gently twist. Inhale here, lengthen. Exhale, tighten your waistline muscles. Even if you don't see anything move, you can feel that lower level of abdomen tightening. And then come back to center. You're going to go the other direction. Take the legs first. You're just sliding around. Now, if you've got an armchair, you can't do this. So try and work without an armchair. I think most of you have one of those at your dining table or at your kitchen table. Go ahead and just twist. You can use this hand. I love this hand on the thigh. Just opening. Now, some of it is just this. Try to open it right from the waistline and the rib cage. Take a deep breath. Lengthen through the body. Inhale. And exhale. And release. Walk the feet back. One more each side. Take the legs over. Take the twist the opposite way. Notice that the second time it's like it's not as tight. If this hurts your low back, you're probably doing it down here. Maybe don't do the legs quite so much and try to sit up higher. If sitting up is higher, maybe put a pillow underneath your rear end, okay? Take the twist. Tighten your waistline. If we're doing this twist with no engagement of the core, then we're also straining on the back. So just tighten. It's like you've got a belt or a big corset that they used in the old days. So glad we don't have those. But pull and tighten, 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 tighten. Just let the muscles, your muscles will start to remember how to contract and come back. Go to the other side. Twist here. Inhale. Tighten, tighten, tighten. Just love on you, this body, this gift, and come back to center. Inhale deeply. Notice your breath, which nostril. Mine just switched. Part of that is this coming down to this part of the class. Try the experiment or don't. It's up to you. We're just going to pause and do a seated Shavasana. Still sitting as tall as you can. If you need to, you're welcome to put a block into the back of your chair. It looks like this. Close your eyes. Find your breath. Again, notice which nostril. Just be in sheer wonder and amazement at what had to happen to create this. Okay. We'll be back next week. I hope that it's on Wednesday at 8. It's just been kind of crazy with the schedule. I hope you're okay, that I'll try and let you know. I know I gave you 15 minutes, maybe a half hour today. Think about if you have enough breath to be grateful for something. You have more than enough breath. No, sorry, let's redo that. If you have enough breath to complain about anything, my shoulder's tight, okay? And you have more than enough breath to be grateful for something. I can move. Yeah. Have a wonderful day. Rest of your week. Get out. Move your body. Okay. Get up, sit in a chair, do some of those things that you know will benefit you. Have an amazing time. Play with this body. That's all for today.